Hi, today we're looking at Functional Skills Maths Level 1. This is a Training Qualifications UK exam board. We've got examination paper 1 and we're going to start with the non-calculator section. Question 1. Work out 0.4 plus 0.19. So I'm going to write one on top of the other, lining up my zeros and my decimal points. Now, so that we've got something to add to the 9, I'm going to put a Z in there. Sorry, a 0 as a placeholder. So we've got 0 plus 9 is 9, 4 plus 1 is 5. Bring the decimal point down, 0 plus 0 is 0. So we can put our answer in 0.59. Question 2. Work out 5 squared. Well, 5 squared is the same as saying 5 times 5. That's what the little 2 means. It means 2 of them, but they're multiplied together. Not 5 plus 5, 5 times 5. And if we do our 5 times table, we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Question 3. Work out 704 times 1,000. Put a comma in there. Well, if we're multiplying by 1,000, it's going to be getting bigger. And we're going to be putting the zeros on the end and 3 zeros here. So we're just going to have 3 zeros on this number. Then if we count back from the end, 1, 2, 3 for the commas, we can now read that as 704,000. And also that makes sense. If it's 704 lots of 1,000, which is 704 times 1,000, we're going to have 704,000. Question 4. 0.8 divided by 10. So we've got 0.8. Now we're dividing the number, so we're making it smaller. Now with this one, we're not going to be adding zeros, but we're going to be moving the decimal point. Now, if we were making the number bigger, we'd be moving it to the right. Because we're dividing, we're making it smaller. We need to move the decimal point once to the left. And we know it's once to the left because we've just got 1 0. So that means the new number is going to be 0 point, and because that decimal point has moved, it's going to be 0.08. Question 5. There are 20 sweets in a bowl. One sweet is chosen at random. The probability that a lemon sweet is chosen is 6 over 20, or 6/20. Mark this probability on the probability scale. So we've got from 0 to 1. And how many sections have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 10 parts here, or it's in tenths. Well, if we can get this into tenths, it'll be easy to know where we need to mark. Well, 10 is half of 20, divided by 2. So if we do the same to the top number, divide that by 2, 6 divided by 2, well, 2, 4, 6, that's 3 times. So that means that these are equivalent fractions. So they've got the same value. And because it's in tenths now, we can say 1, 2, 3 tenths will be here. That's our 6/20. Question 6. Sam pays £1,600 into a new savings account. The savings account pays 5% interest each year. How much money will be in the savings account after 1 year? Well, let's work out what the interest is first of all. We want 5% of this. Well, I'm going to work out what 10% is first of all. So 10% of 1,600. Well, we're just going to cross a 0 off. So it's going to be £160. Now, if we want 5% of 1,600, well, 5 is half of 10. So we want half of this. So in other words, 160 divided by 2. 2 can't go into 1, but 2 goes into 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's 8 times. And 2 goes into 0, 0 times. So half of 160 is 80. So that's our interest. Now they want to know how much money will be in the savings account after a year. So that's going to be the original 1,600 plus £80 of interest. So we've got 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 8 is 8, 6 plus nothing is 6, 1 plus nothing is 1. So 1,680. Question 7. Work out the range of these numbers. Well, the range is the biggest number minus the smallest number. So what's the biggest? 0.9. Anything bigger than that? 0.0, 0.7. No. So that's the biggest number. What's the smallest? 0.04. Well, there's nothing else with a 0 here, so this is going to be the smallest. So we want 0.9 minus 0.04. Now I've got nothing to take the 4 away from, so we can put a 0 up here. Now 0 take away 4 we can't do. But what we can do is reduce the 9 to an 8 and pass 1 across to make that 10. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 8 minus 0 is still 8. Bring the decimal point and zeros down and we get 0.86. Question 8. Work out 42 plus 8 times 6. So we need to think of our order of operations and which we do first. Now you should remember BODMAS or BIDMAS. We've got brackets, haven't got any here. Order of or indices, we haven't got any. Division, we haven't got any. Multiplication, so that means this bit needs to come next. Well, 8 times 6, well we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. So we can now substitute that in here. So that means that this is 42 plus, instead of 8 times 6, we can put 48. So we just need to add these two together. 2 plus 8 is 10. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So we get an answer of 90. Question 9. The table shows the amounts of flour a baker needs to make these items. So for a cake, they need 1.05 kilograms of flour. For flapjacks, they need 860 grams. For brownies, they need 500 grams. The baker has 2.5 kilograms of flour in total. Does the baker have enough flour? Right, so we've got some of the measurements in grams and some in kilograms. Let's turn them all into the same units. So let's turn them all into grams. Then we get rid of the decimal points as well. Well, I know that we've got 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So for this one, we want to multiply this by 1,000 to get it in grams. So multiplying, we're going to make it bigger. 3 zeros, we're going to move this decimal point once, twice, 3 times. So we'll have a 0 in there. So we're going to end up with 1050, and the decimal point will be at the end, which is 1,050 grams. This is going to stay the same, 860. And this is going to stay the same, 500. So what we can do is we can add them all up to find out the total grams of these items. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 6 is 11. Plus 0 is still 11. 0 plus 8 is 8. Plus 5 is 13. Plus 1 is 14. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So we've got 2,410 grams. Now how much has he got? Well, he has 2.5 kilograms. So we can do like we did before. We want 2.5. We want to multiply that by 1,000 to get this into grams. So we're going to move the decimal point. So we've got the 2 and the 5 decimal points here. We're going to move it once, twice, 3 times because of the 3 zeros. Fill in the gaps with zeros. So that gives us 2,500 grams. So he needs 2,410. He's got 2,500. So we can say 2,500 grams is more than 2,410 grams. Does the baker have enough flour? Yes. So now we're on to the calculator section. Question 1. Round 14.855 to 2 decimal places. Well, so these are the 2 decimal places, the 8 and the 5. So we have to look at the digit after that. If it's 5 or more, then we're going to increase this one by 1. So this is going to be 14.86. Well, you can think that this number is going to be somewhere between 14.85 and 14.86. And we're trying to work out, is it closer to this one or this one? But using the 5 is handy because it's saying, well, anything that ends in a 5 or more would be rounded up to 14.86. So we can write our answer in here. Question 2. Draw a quadrilateral on this grid. What is a quadrilateral? Just means a 4-sided shape. And they haven't said what size to draw it. So, nice simple quadrilateral shape is a square. Okay, done. If you wanted, you could go from the top dot to the top right corner and all the way down and have one massive rectangle, I think that would probably be, but that's a quadrilateral, 4 straight sides. Question 3. Calculate the total of this shopping list. Okay. Now, we have got a calculator that we can use now, but what I'm going to do before I do that is just think, well, I've got pence and I've got pounds and pence, so we've got different units. So I just want to think about how I'm going to show them. So I'm actually going to, instead of 90p, I'm going to think of it as 0.90 pounds. And 36p, I'm going to think of it as 0.36 pounds. Okay. What you could do is you could do it all in pence instead and convert it, but just think of them in the same units. So that means we're going to have 0.9 plus 2.54 plus 0.36, which gives us a total of 3.8, but you can't have 3.8 pounds. Pounds and pence, we need to have 2 decimal places. So we've got £3.80. And we would then put that in here as well. Question 4. Jude wants to buy a new sofa. Jude finds the sofa for sale in 2 shops for the same original price. They don't tell us what that original price is, but they just tell us it's the same. Shop A, sofa is now 15% off. Shop B, the sofa is now 1/8 off. Which shop is offering the bigger discount? Show how you decide. So I know some people would find this really difficult because it hasn't got a price in there. It's just saying it's the same. And if that happens, if you find it easier to work with an actual amount, we'll just pick a number. You could pick 100 or 1,000, nice round number, and work it out that way. But what we can do instead is, basically what we're trying to do is to compare 15% with 1/8. So what we can do, we can turn our 1/8 by doing 1 divided by 8. We turn it into a decimal. And if we want to compare it to this, we turn it into a percentage, so we multiply by 100. And we get that this is 12.5%. So now, which shop is offering the bigger discount? We're just saying, what's the bigger number? 15% or 12.5%? Well, it's this one. So it would be shop A. And if you want to show that, you could just put 15% is greater than 12.5%. Question 5. Leslie and Bo share £560 in the ratio 1 to 7. So every time Leslie gets £1, Bo gets £7. And that continues until all £560 are used up. How much does each person get? So I'm going to draw a simple ratio table. So we're going to have L for Leslie, B for Bo, and I'm going to have a total column as well. So every time Leslie gets £1, Bo gets £7. And if that's all they had, or 1 plus 7, would be a total of 8. In fact, the total is £560 because that's what they're sharing. So we've got to think, well, how are we getting from the 8 up to the 560? So we do the opposite. We say, well, what's 560 divided by 8? And because we've got a calculator here, we can use that to find that it's 70. So we're multiplying this first row by 70 to get the new row. So we just have to do the same to these two numbers to get the new values. Well, 1 times 70 would just be 70. And 7 times 70, we use a calculator again, we get 490. And if we want to do a check, we can make sure that 490 plus 70 gets us back to here. So Leslie gets £70, Bo gets £490. And make sure you got them around the right way. So again, you can do a quick check. Yeah, Leslie gets the smaller amount, 1, and Bo gets the bigger amount. Question 6. Lee thinks that 500,000 centimetres is equal to 50 kilometres. Is Lee correct? Show how you decide. So 500,000 centimetres. So just writing that, we're getting a mark already. Okay. So we want to turn this into kilometres. So I'm going to do it step by step. I'm going to say, well, I know that there's 100 centimetres in 1 metre. So we want to divide this by 100. So we cross off 2 zeros. And that leaves us with 5 and 1, 2, 3 zeros. So that's now metres. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I know that there's 1,000 metres in 1 kilometre. So we want to divide this by 1,000 to get it into kilometres. So 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. That means we're left with 5 kilometres. Well, Lee thinks this is equal to 50 kilometres. Well, 5 kilometres is not equal to 50 kilometres. So is Lee correct? No. He's incorrect. Question 7. The table shows the profit a company made each month for the last 5 months. So in January they made, I'm going to put my commas in to make it easier to read, £12,300, February £8,730, March £9,500, April £9,275, and in May they made £10,250. The manager says, we have made a mean average profit of more than £10,000 a month. Is the manager correct? Show how you decide. Well, the mean is equal to the total divided by the frequency, or how many we've got. So we want to add these all together first of all. So again, use your calculator, make it quicker, but you might want to type them in more than once, just to check that you haven't accidentally, oh, like that, there you go. I'm talking and I'm typing the wrong number in. 9275 and 10,250. So we get a total of £50,055. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So we divide it by 5 and we get £10,011. We've made a mean average profit of more than 10,000. Well, that is more than 10,000. So is the manager correct? Yes, they are. Question 8. Hayden wants to buy 6 t-shirts and finds these offers online. Offer A, we've got a pack of 6 t-shirts, was £32, now 20% off. And we've got offer B, the t-shirts are £6.33 each, buy 2, get 1 free. Hayden wants to buy the t-shirts that cost the least amount of money. Which offer should Hayden choose? Well, if he goes with offer A, he wants 6 t-shirts. This is a pack of 6 t-shirts. We just need to take 20% off of the price. Well, 20% is going to be 20 out of 100 times the original amount. And I'm doing it this way because we're going to use our calculator. So 20 divided by 100 times 32. If I was doing it without a calculator, I'd probably work out 10% and then double it. But we get £6.4 or £6.40. We then want to take that away from the original £32. So 32 minus £6.40 gives us 25.6 or £25.60. Now we've just got to work out what it would cost with offer B. So buy 2, get 1 free. So how many are we going to have to buy? Well, if you buy 2, get 1 free, that means we're going to need, well, actually, let's do it this way. We buy 2, get 1 free. That would be 3 t-shirts in total. If we buy another 2, get another 1 free, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total. And that's what we want. Now, what's the price? Well, we've got to buy 2, so we're going to have 2 times £6.33. This is the free one, so that doesn't cost anything. Then we're buying another 2, so it's going to be another 2 lots of £6.33. This is the free one, so 0. So to work out this total, we've got 2 lots of £6.33 and another 2 lots of £6.33, or in other words, 4 times £6.33. So we've got to buy 4 t-shirts and we get 6 in total because we get the 2 free ones. £6.33 times 4, that gives us £25.32p. Well, which is the least? Well, £25.32 is less than £25.60. So which offer should Hayden choose? Offer B. Question 9. Cameron needs to apply 2 coats of paint to this wall. Strange shaped wall here. Actually, let's move this up so that we can get all of the question on in one go. Yep, just about. To work out the total area that needs to be painted, Cameron uses this rule. Height of the wall, that's then multiplied by 3.14, which is then multiplied by the height of the wall, and you get the area in metres squared. Cameron thinks the total area to be painted is more than 20 metres squared. And just below it says, is Cameron correct? Okay, now an important detail here. Cameron needs to apply 2 coats of paint to this wall. Okay, so we do need to take that into account. So the height of the wall, well, that's 2.5. Then we're going to multiply it by 3.14. Then we're going to multiply it by the height of the wall. So another 2.5. And that's going to give us the area in meters squared. So 2.5 times 3.14 times another 2.5 gives us 19.625. Okay, so they've asked us the area of the wall to be painted. Now, I did say here Cameron needs to apply 2 coats of paint to this wall, but actually they're not asking us about how much paint we need to put on it. All they're asking us is about the area to be painted. Well, we worked it out as 19.625, which is less than 20 meters squared. So is Cameron correct? Well, actually, no, he's not. So that 2 coats of paint is a bit of a red herring, really. It's almost to distract us, and I can see how that could put people off. Question 10. Let's move this up. Morgan sees these 2 cakes in a shop. We've got lemon cake. Total weight is 920 grams, and it's got 25% sugar. Well, we've got a chocolate cake. Total weight is 750 grams with 30% sugar. Morgan wants to buy the cake with the least amount of sugar in total. Which cake should Morgan buy? Well, if we want to know the amount of sugar in this cake, it's going to be 25%. So 25 out of 100 times 920 grams. Which gives us 230 grams of sugar. Now with the chocolate cake, it's 30%, so it's going to be 30 out of 100. And this time it's of 750 grams. So 30 divided by 100 times 750, 225 grams. Which cake should Morgan buy? Morgan wants to buy the one with the least amount. Well, 230 is more than 225, so she wants this one, which is chocolate cake. And question 11. Jessie catches the 10:45 a.m. train to visit Kai. The train ride will take 1.25 hours. It is then a 30-minute walk to Kai's house. Jessie expects to get to Kai's house before 12:45 p.m. Is Jessie correct? Right, so we're starting at 10:45. The train ride will take 1.25 hours. Well, a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. And if you want to check that, you can do 60 minutes in an hour divided by 4 gives you 15. So they're catching so starting at 10:45, we're adding on 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now we've got to be a bit careful if we're writing it like this, because we've got to remember that there's only 60 minutes in an hour. So if we do 45 plus 15, it's 60, but actually that's a whole hour. So that's going to be 0, 0. And carry 1 across. So 10 plus 1 plus another 1 means actually it's going to get there at 12 o'clock. We've then got a 30-minute walk, so we can then add on 0:30. Well, if it's 12 o'clock, we're adding on 30 minutes. It's just going to be 12:30. And we started in the AM in the morning. We've gone past 12, so it's now going to be 12:30 p.m. 12:30 is smaller or earlier than 12:45 p.m. Jessie expects to get to Kai's house before 12:45. Yeah, that's correct. Question 12. Harper wants to make this wooden frame. Okay, so we've got this here. It's 24 centimetres long, 8 centimetres across. Harper will buy a piece of wood that is 10% longer than needed to allow for mistakes. What is the total length of wood Harper needs to buy? Right, so we just want to work out our length of wood. Well, we've got, it's going to be 24 centimetres down this way. Now, what we don't know is we don't know how wide this is. Because you could say, well, this is 24 centimetres, but he doesn't need to buy this extra bit. What we're going to assume is that because it's a frame, the wood's going to be narrow, because they haven't told us what this width is, because they said it's not drawn to scale. So we can't work it out. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to work out the perimeter. So we're going to have 24 centimetres over this side, 24 this side, 8 at the bottom, which means 8 at the top. So if we add it all up, we're going to have 24 centimetres plus another 24 plus 8 plus another 8. 24 plus 24 plus 8 plus 8. So yeah, you could see this question as like a level 2 question, or maybe even a GCSE question if they gave you the width, and then it would make it more complicated. But with this one, we'll keep it straightforward. But we do need to add on the 10%. And 10% of 64 is going to be 10 out of 100 times 64, which is 6.4 centimetres. So the total that he needs will be 64 plus 6.4. We've got 6.4 in there already, so add on the 64, which gives us 70.4 centimetres. Question 13. The table below shows how 90 people get to work. So 40 people go by car, 30 by bus, 15 by train, and 5 walk, and a total of 90 people. Show this information on a pie chart, and they've given us a blank pie chart down here. Right, so with a pie chart, we need to have the total angles, if it's size of angle, and the total number of angles in a circle are 360 degrees. Now hopefully you'll see, well, 90 is a right angle, and so you'll be thinking, well, how many of these fit in 360? And if you think of right angles, you could have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is just 4 times bigger. If you weren't sure about that, you could take the 360 and divide it by the 90 to see you've got 4. So that means if we want to work out the angle needed for each of these modes of transport, we're just going to need to multiply each of them by 4. So 40 times 4, we get 160 degrees. 30 times 4, 120 degrees. 15 times 4, 60 degrees. And 5 times 4, 20 degrees. And it's always good to check these. So if we add them all up, 160 plus 120 plus 60 plus 20, yes, it does give us 360 degrees. So we've worked that all out. Now we need to put that onto our pie chart. So we've got car is 160 degrees. So I'm going to need my protractor for this one. Okay, so I'm going to use the crosshairs and put that on the centre of my circle and line up this line with the starting line of the pie chart. And we're going to want to draw 160 degrees. So we're going to start here on the 0. And I'm going to measure from in a clockwise direction. So 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way around to 160, which is here. Now it doesn't matter that that's slightly outside the circle, because I'm then going to use this to draw a line there. So this is cars, Then the next area we had buses with 120 degrees. So now I've got to reset my protractor. This is now my starting point, this line that I've just drawn. So it's going to be 120 degrees from here. Again, we'll start with a 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 120 degrees, which is over there. So that's going to be the bus. Then the next sector we had was trains, and that's 60 degrees. Let's just bring it down so you can see what it worked out. So train, 60 degrees. So this is our new starting point. So we'll line up the crosshairs. Start at 0 here. 60 degrees, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 here. And this is train. Now walking was 20 degrees, so we can check. I can measure it this way. Maybe 19. Now it's okay if you're 1 or 2 degrees out, it's always going to be tricky. But I just wanted to show you that I could measure it the other way. So I could start from this line and then measure in an anti-clockwise direction. And if we do that, well, then we're starting here instead. And again, you can see we're probably about 18 or 19 degrees there. But it's close enough. That's going to be fine, so long as you're within 1 or 2 degrees. So this would be walking on here. They've actually given us a key here. So what we can do with the key is we can have car, bus, train and walk, and maybe we can do a different pattern. So what should we have? A car, maybe we'll have some horizontal lines. So that's the cars. For buses, maybe we can have vertical lines. Don't do them too close together if you do lines, otherwise you'll have to draw loads of them. Okay, so vertical lines here. For train, well, train, let's do diagonal lines. And I'll spread those out so I don't have to do too many. And for walking, we'll just leave that blank. Okay, and there's our pie chart. Question 14. Charlie needs to fill this tank with water until it is 5/6 full. So we've got our dimensions there of the tank. How much water does Charlie need to pour into the tank? Give your answer in cubic centimetres. So first thing we want to do is work out the volume of this. And the volume of a cuboid is the length times the width times the height. Well, in this case, the length is 120, the width is 40, and the height is 50 centimetres. Now, because you're multiplying them all, it doesn't matter if you label them differently, multiply them in different order, you'll get the same answer. So 120 times 40 times 50, which is 240,000 centimetres cubed, or cubic centimetres. But he's going to fill this tank with water until it's 5/6 full. So we just want 5/6, so 5/6 times 240,000, so times 5 divided by 6. Or you could divide it by 6 to get 1/6 and then multiply by 5. Either way, we're going to get an answer of 200,000 centimetres cubed. And our final question. 15. Alex needs to buy grass seed to cover this garden. Okay, so sort of L shape here. We've got some of the measurements, but not all of them. And we're told 1 box of grass seed covers 20 square meters. How many boxes of grass seed does Alex need to buy? Well, we want to work out the total area, and then we can divide that up by 20. What I'm going to do first of all is split this into 2 rectangles. You could split it into rectangles that way, or you could work out one big rectangle and then take away this space. I'm going to do it this way. So the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. Well, we've got the length. The width, we haven't got the width because we want this width. This is the width of the full shape. We want just this width here. So this is what we're after. And it's not been given at the moment, but we can work it out because it's going to be this full width all the way across minus this bit on the end. Which gives us 8.3 centimetres. Oh, sorry, no, it's metres, isn't it? Metres. So that means the area is going to be the 11.6 times 8.3. I've already got 8.3 in my calculator, so I'll keep that and I'll multiply that by 11.6. And we get 96.28, and that's going to be metres squared. Now this area, we've got both values given, so it's going to be the 4.5 times 5, which is 22.5 metres squared. So if we want the total area, well, it's going to be these two added together. So we're going to have 96, well actually let's call it, so total area going to be equal to 96.28 plus 22.5. Add on the 96.28. We get 118.78 metres squared. Right, now 1 box covers 20 square metres. So we want to know how many of these do we need or fit within 118.78. So we're going to do 118.78 divided by 20. So again, I'm not clearing my answer there. Just divide it by 20. We'll get 5.939. Now you can't buy 0.939 of a box. So we're going to need 6 boxes. Because 5 wouldn't be enough. So 6 hot ones. And that's the end of the paper. So I hope you found that helpful. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, have your notifications on so you find out when I add more videos, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.